Okay, it should be coming back up.
Yep, looks good.
Alright. Okay, I guess we're good to go.
Alright.
I should just go ahead and start then?
Go ahead. I need to update the schedule for when we're actually starting and everything, but that can come later, so just go.
Alright.
You know what's funny? That was still... Oh, no, wait, we went overtime for that game. Nice.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. I didn't think we'd be anywhere near overtime.
Yeah, it just took so long to set up.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people hate XSplit, but I hate XSplit. That's all I'm going to say. So you're starting right now, Zaire?
Yep.
Yeah. It's loading up the first level now.
The schedule should be updated, people.
Okay, so we're going to see a fun little sequel to aforementioned Rocket No Adventures.
Yes, this game actually has a prize going with it.
Yes, the Sparkster
It
picture.
does. We had,
The Sparkster
what's
picture.
his name?
Post the link to it, Jim.
The 3.6 or something. I probably got it wrong. But, yeah. You did a nice looking picture. That's all you need to know, really. Apart from maybe, actually seeing the picture. But I think Mike's in control of that, so,
Oh, wrong way.
I might just talk a bit about the game. Basically, there hasn't been a Sparkster game in like 15 years. And just last year, was it last year or the year before? They did this.
I know I'm pretty sure it was 2010.
Yeah, this game was released 2010.
But as to when exactly in 2010...
In Essentia, this game is on Steam, Xbox Live Arcade, and PlayStation Network.
Yep, and they all have their own separate leaderboards, which made it very annoying in the early days trying to work out who had the best time.
And now it's not very hard because not many people play this game anymore, sadly.
Yep, unfortunately.
It is a shame, because it's a really good game. It's, kind of in the vein of the way most games are going. It's not as punishingly difficult as the original is when you first play it. Rocket No Adventures, to the guys that ran the game just then, it's kind of second nature, but when you're playing the game for the first time, there's a lot of different traps and ways to die. This game actually handles, you can see the boost meter up in the top left of the screen. It's actually a bit different in this game from the original. In the original, you'd hold the button down, and when it was fully charged, only then could you use a boost. In this game, using a boost takes up like 20% of your meter, and your meter automatically recharges itself, and you just tap the button to boost whenever you like.
Yeah. There's no special difference, like, if your boost meter is full or not, is it? I know they want to just boost as much as possible.
It charges faster when there's less of it.
Okay, when you're not using as much, okay.
Yeah, the bottom third, it fills up almost instantly. The middle third, it's moderate, but the top third, to top it off, is really slow.
Yeah, so, you want to be boosting as much as possible, like I said, pretty much. And in the vein of Rocket No Adventures, lots of auto-scrollers. In fact, there's 3 out of the 10 levels are auto-scroller. This is the first of them. So, you can mess around and just generally make this entertaining. But you can't speed it up. So it's just, 3 minutes of just showing off the beam attack, basically.
Yeah, I mean, even a scoring run, this isn't too exciting. You just want to chain as much stuff as possible.
Actually, the chaining system would be pretty neat if you really got into it, because you see after you kill something.
Yeah, the bar starts dropping down.
Yeah, and you only have X amount of time before it builds up. And if you do a bigger combo, it builds up more. So, yeah, I reckon it'd be an interesting exercise to try and max out some of the scores.
I haven't looked at the leaderboards lately, so I have no idea what some of the scores are for this stage.
I don't want to know. I never even tried it.
Oh, it seems like we have a donation from John De Sousa, also known as Warpledge on our forums, and it's probably he's splitting the $10 between the both of us for the Rocket Knight Adventures race. Probably more for the entertaining death than the race itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, surely he's not complimenting you guys.
Yeah,
it's just not the way he rolls.
Yeah, he is the Tompa of this game. He doesn't quite count frames, but he's getting there. And then when he starts a hard mode run on the first stage, he'll immediately quit it because he'll just die 200 times.
He says, knowing my luck, however, people will miss this donation comment the same way they missed me post my bounty.
Actually, he does have a message with that. Since nobody knows what times Mike/Chum got an arcade race, I'll split the difference on my bounty and send half the max total. Knowing my luck, however, people will miss this donation comment the same way they miss me post my bounty. Thanks for putting on a good race.
It was a good race. We said that a lot, but it really was. It's always a fun game to watch.
I mean, the first Rocket Knight Adventure is my favorite one. Obviously, but this one's a really good one too. It's probably my second favorite.
This is good. I like it. Like I said, it's not, it doesn't have that sort of retro game difficulty.
I heard
unless you play on gold mode, that's legitimately hard.
Yeah, because don't you have like 4 hearts?
You do, so it's more like the sort of ratio of damage that you take in
normal and
adventures.
Which is, interestingly enough, very hard in Japanese and European versions. I don't know why they changed the difficulties.
They just wanted to make Europeans feel better about themselves. So yeah, just flying along at a fixed pace.
But yeah, speaking of our Rocket Knight Adventure picture, it was done by Herb36. Let me see the link to his website. Here's his website, herb36.carbonade.com. And for those of you who are just joining, this is Japan released done quick. Right now the game being played is Rocket Knight, not Rocket Knight Adventures. And are raising money for Doctors Without Borders, a charity dedicated to providing medical aid to areas that need it, whether it's neglect or natural disaster. It's a good cause, so please donate. Obviously, one of their big efforts is Japan, and they are also doing an effort in Libya.
Yay, got that achievement finally.
What's the achievement?
It's one where you have to destroy all the enemies in that stage.
It's this stage, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
I always seem to miss 1 or 2 of the mines, but finally got them that time.
That's your entertainment factor for that stage, the achievement.
Pretty much.
I'd ask you to go for the other ones, but I've never actually even got them myself, and I can't really even remember what they are.
One of them is...
I want to say one of them's 3-2 without taking damage, and that's just ridiculous. That's the hardest level in this game by a long shot.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier with my girlfriend, and as far as achievements on flying stages, that's the only one. The other two achievements that are state specific are when you're on foot.
Yeah, so you'd be losing too much time to something like that.
And you know, we speedrunners take so much pride in achievements. Random, arbitrary point givings that have no real significance.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this game for how long, and I've never gotten that achievement yet.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Castle Crasher speedrun on the site, and I think I've barely over half of the achievements.
I think I saw, who did I see? Might have been Jay when they did the bonus stream with Explosion Man.
Yeah.
And he had something like 45 out of 200 Explosion Man or something like that. That doesn't sound right, but it was somebody that was doing an Xbox game.
So yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Rocket Knight series, you play a dude named Sparkster, and there's 4 games of the series. There's this game, which is the latest one, which is basically a revival of the franchise since the last game before it was, I think, 1994,
1994, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 1994. And then there's, and the first game is the game that we just played, Rocket Knight Adventures. And that's generally considered the best game by most people. Yeah, it really is.
To the context, even PJ likes it.
Yeah, and PJ hates Genesis. He doesn't even like Sonic 2, and everyone likes Sonic 2. But yeah. And there's the 2 Sparkster games, one for Super Nintendo and one for Genesis. And what's kind of funny about the Sparkster games is that they're both completely different games.
Rather like the 2 Aladdin games. Although those were actually made by different companies. I think
PJ's in the chat right now, and he says, quote, even PJ likes it, beware. That is true. He likes Lagoon, and he likes Mohawk and Cyclone Jack, and other terrible, terrible games.
He has a very eclectic taste in games.
Yes.
To
say it more tactfully.
Going off there for a little bit at the end.
It appears we have 1 new donation. Hold on a second. Oh, we have 2 new donations, actually.
That was lucky.
We have a $10 donation from David Newman and a $25 from PJ Cheezer. I think the type says Cheezer.
Or something like that.
Yes. I'm good at butchering names. Don't worry. You're both still the man. Even you, PJ. Even with your taste in names. I still respect you. It's Caesar. Okay.
Come on, stop roaring and let me hit ya.
Yeah, isn't this boss really random? Like
this boss, unlike all the others in the game, is actually really easy. I guess there is a random element to it, but I think you can manipulate pretty well what he does. So he's just better than 20 seconds there. That's pretty par for the course. Basically, you saw he has a boost attack, but if you use even more of your boost meter up, you can do a spinning boost attack, which does twice as much damage. So you basically just want to spam that until it dies.
Pretty much.
But while it's doing a certain attack, it's invincible.
It's not while it's doing a certain attack, it's when it's roaring like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so PJ wanted to say something, and that is, this is for naming PJ the favorite food in Earthbound. So that's $25 for PJ as the favorite food in Earthbound. So your mom can make you your favorite food, PJ.
This is actually my favorite level design in the game, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I like this level. I like 3-2 as well, but it's a lot harder. I grew up on Sonic games. I don't like challenge that much.
Which is kind of ironic because like speedrunning them is so much harder than like actually just playing through them normally.
It's actually I'd say it's legitimately harder to speedrun a Sonic game than to speedrun an average, any other sort of platformer.
Oh no, I totally agree. That's why like I don't really touch Sonic games because a lot of my games are like run to the right and then boom. But yeah, like I mean, Sonic games they just require a lot of precision and timing, especially with how buggy some of them are. Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Well, the bigger thing is you just lose so much time if you
screw up, because a lot of the obstacles are timed in the games, right?
Some of them are timed based on when they are created by the game, and some of them are timed from when the level started, if I recall correctly.
Actually, some of them are created by the game as soon as the act starts. In Sonic 3, it's even weirder than that because it's actually when the first act of the zone starts. You can have the time in Act 1 can affect your timed objects in Act 2. And they basically become more prevalent the further you go on in the series. Like Sonic 2 in particular doesn't have too many.
So yeah, if you don't mind, going back to the Rocket Knight series.
I was going to say, how about we actually talk about this game?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird. We're good at getting sidetracked, but that's dangerous for you.
We're good at that.
Yeah, we are really, really good at that, and we're doing it all right. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, if there's a stage we should do a tangent on this one. But yeah, anyways, about the Sparkster games, it's kind of funny because even though the Genesis Sparkster came out after Rocket Knight Adventures, it feels more like a prequel. Because it's slower, the controls aren't as crisp, like it feels a little slippery, like when you turn around, and the stage design in general isn't as good.
It's a bit like they got a bit lazy and just worked off the hype of the first game.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny because the Rocket Knight Adventures is actually, one of the not series per se because they're not all in the series, but a whole cascade of mascot games that flooded the market after the success of, Sonic.
Yeah, that's true.
And
other cool games are Air of the Acrobat, Awesome. Awesome kicks Dr. Machino's butt. Yeah, Bugsy, the game where you go at like 200 miles an hour, and you can maybe maintain that speed for about 2 seconds before you slam your face in an enemy and die.
Yeah, so as you can see, not many of those games are very fondly remembered today.
Yeah, but Rocket Knight Adventure is one of the exceptions because it's actually like a really well designed game. Even though there's a couple boring auto-scrollers, like a lot of the auto-scrollers are still pretty entertaining. At least your first time through.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we're honest, we're like really the only people that get particularly annoyed by auto-scrollers.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. But yeah, and Super Nintendo Sparkster is good. Ironically, it's actually faster than the Genesis Sparkster, which is really weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the boosting and just in your movement in general.
Well, that's just by that point the Super Nintendo had a better blast processor. They had it worked out by then.
Yeah, they really did. Like, if you look at like old first generation Super Nintendo games, there's just so much slowdown in them. Like, just absurd. But yeah, they really got down by.
What were the launch titles for SNES? I think F-Zero was one of them.
Yeah, I think it was F-Zero, Mario World, and Pilot Wings. I mean, there were a lot more games that came out later that that year, like Final Fantasy 2 and Gradius 3, which is...
Yeah, the funny thing about Final Fantasy 2 is I watched it during Awesome Games Done Quick, and it looks like, Nintendo RPG. Like NES.
It's like the first generation.
It has more that kind of look to it, whereas if you watch Fantasy 6, it feels more like that sort of generation of game.
Yeah. Well, part of it's the memory, and part of it's just they got used to the system, I guess.
Yeah.
And the 3D, I agree. It's going to be great.
Actually, what is next? Is it Cave Story or?
That's actually a great question. What is next?
No, it's Mega Man.
No, I think
Mega Man 10.
It's a small Mega Man block. It's Mega Man 10 with Duck Fist, and then it's Mega Man X2, and then it's Cave Story.
Yeah, so you guys will hopefully enjoy all of those. Me, I won't be enjoying any of them because I'll be out like a rock. I've been up since 11 yesterday and it's currently 8 in the morning now. And that was on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, this stage can be annoying because your rocket pack is essentially frozen, so it doesn't regenerate the energy on its own. You have to heat it up.
First stage actually introduced pretty much any level of difficulty at all. You see the fireplaces around the place. That's how you charge your meter up. Oh, actually, no. There's also...
Yeah, there's those items that charge it up as well.
And just missed it.
Yep.
Now he has no boots.
And I messed up.
Yeah, so you really want to be a bit more stingy with how you use your boots in this area.
Normally I don't have much of a problem. Normally. But as is the marathon.
Yeah, it's funny what marathon luck does to you.
No one believes it until they actually try and run for the marathon. Okay, so speaking of the Mega Man series, we do have a bait going for Mega Man X2. Hydeman is willing to do the percent of the game that you want for donations. Right now, low percent is winning at $85, 100% is at $83, and any percent is at $0. And the difference between 100% and any percent is you get the 0 parts, 100%. And low percent is that you collect nothing except for the weapons you get from the robot boss, the Mavericks, I guess. Yeah, the Mavericks. For Super Mario RPG, you're allowed to name the file name. And currently, Rain is winning at $15. Poxnor is at $11. Jarks is at $10. And Winwolf is at $2.50. For Super C, Hydeman is willing to take donations, or whether he runs it without weapons or with weapons. And currently, without weapons is winning at $13.30, and with weapons is winning at $5. Losing at $5. And currently, our total amount is at $5,294.80. Thank you all who have donated, or even all who are watching. We made this marathon much more successful than we thought it would be. I thought it would maybe raise about $5,000 maximum, but thankfully you've all proved me wrong. So goes into how much I know about estimating amounts for a marathon.
Yeah, we didn't really know what to expect with this one because it was really hastily organised and we...
not a lot of advertising, but it just
really
shows...
have to show the promotion effort.
Well, we honestly didn't have a lot of time for a promotion effort.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably could have done a little better, but like, you know, I mean, the whole thing was pretty much arranged in 2 weeks, so...
Yeah, and when we say arranged in 2 weeks, we're talking about going from this would be a good idea and a completely unrelated topic to, oh, hey, let's do this, to getting 30, 40 different streamers together and actually doing it.
So speaking of that, I should really give a big thanks to Ron Scout for arranging this whole event, because without him, this event wouldn't have happened, so...
Oh, come on.
So props to you, Ron Scout. Thanks for doing all this.
This is a great boss concept, by the way.
Like, are you being sarcastic, or...?
No, I'm serious. This is a really good boss.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a whole heap of different ways you can damage it.
Oh, you can deflect the bombs, you can...
Yeah, you can throw the bombs out, you can make him run into a wall.
That is really cool, actually. Like, I wish more games would do that. Like, one thing...
And they all do differing amounts of damage.
Yeah. Like, one thing
Actually, all the bosses have something like that. When you play on the hard difficulty, as opposed to gold mode, when you play on the hard difficulty, there's one certain way of dealing damage to the boss. That if you do it at least once, a little something will go off, and the game then gives you the option of playing on in hard mode for the next world. So you have to do that to beat the game on hard mode, and once you do that, that unlocks gold mode.
But yeah, that's actually really cool, because a lot of games nowadays, like, you have to hurt the boss in this certain way.
Yeah, and you know,
it's like each hit does like a third of its life or something like that. You know, it's like kind of like very trigger based and like fixed. But it's actually really cool that they'd actually make a boss where like there's a variety of ways to damage it, and they all do varying amounts of damage. That I wish more games would do that actually. So, like, what would be the hardest stage in this game for a speedrun, aside from the bosses, because they're all random?
The one coming up, 3-2, is undoubtedly the hardest stage to run.
Yeah. I apologize. I did not have the Skype sounds turned off. I have turned them off since, so...
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for Mercury.com or Mercury Zelda for pointing it out. And speaking of Mercury Zelda, she's the one who made our amazing plushies for this marathon. If you want to look at some, here's the prices directory and her website. I'm typing it right now. Is www.mercurialmix.com. There we go. And TJP at the moment is showing off her website with some of those awesome plushies you can win during the marathon. That right there that you're currently seeing is the Poppy plushie. That'll be available during Earthbound, and that's the Meat Boy plushie. Yes, scripted, Jack.
That Meat Boy will be mine, just by the way.
That's what everyone says. Everyone says it.
The timing on that one.
The thing about this game in general, really, but in this level, the game really wants you to, take it slowly and go over all the platforms like that. But you can really just take as much damage as you like on this, because you got so much leeway.
Yeah, that's actually one of my bigger gripes about this game, is that You can just take so much damage. Like, it's ridiculous.
Really forgiving, which is not really in the vein of Rocket Knight Adventures, which is quite unforgiving about how it deals damage.
Easy mode is fairly forgiving, but I mean,
I don't think I played on easy mode the first time I played the game. Because
the first time I played the game, I played
forget those teleports.
Well, remember when I did the tournament and I actually set the mode to normal because I thought it was default.
Harry Rouse, who's actually the guy who speedran this game for the site.
Yeah.
It's not posted yet, but it should be soon.
That's a really good run.
Yeah,
oh yeah, it is.
So is this Ron Scout? Did someone say, or who? I don't know what you're trying to ask. I mean, Ron Scout isn't this call right now. This is Mike Uyama speaking right now. I'm the guy who helps run SBA. And with me is Mike89, who's frequently called English Mike, but I'll give credit to him this one time. He is actually Australian. Just once, I'll do it for you. And playing the game is Zot, who actually has currently the longest run SBA, Skies of Arcadia.
Missed that.
Oh, I thought you were saying that in reaction to what I said, like, Skies of Arcadia, don't remind me of that run.
No, not that. I just missed the shortcut in that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of tricky.
Raffle 25, if we use the litmus test for the marathon as games that beat the shit out of Sonic 06, then we pretty much have to allow every game that existed aside from that game.
To be fair, that's actually been our biggest draw so far.
It has been our biggest draw. I think it's so infamously bad, people just had to see it.
So people have asked where, the English Mike name has come from. People still think I sound British, apparently, even after all this time.
Yeah. Speaking of the 2010 Marathon Classic Games Time Quick, here's a link to it with all of our videos. Also known as the Mike's Abode Gaming Festival.
With good reason.
Yes.
That was, in some ways, a very similar event to this one because we had to overcome quite a number of technical difficulties even before the start.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, nice little skip there. The game wants you to go through this section in a specific way. But using the fact that you can do projectile attacks and boost in the opposite direction, you can just sneak by it, staying on the low route. And you remember I said earlier about this being the most difficult level in the game. You might notice that Zaya's only got 2.5 hearts at the moment.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. See, it creeps up on you. Because this level's also quite long. It takes even, Harry Rouse, that guy there who has done the speed run for the site, it takes him 3:20. It takes any sane player at least 4 minutes. This is another nice little skip, hopefully coming up. That's unlucky.
Ouch.
There is a checkpoint there, though, right?
Okay, so you didn't lose too much time at least.
Well, I don't know what he's trying to do. Yeah, okay.
So what's the skip?
Yeah, so basically what he's going to do, what the game wants to do is go all the way down to the bottom, hit a switch which makes the platforms go up,
Okay, but instead you
go
just
all the way
stick
back up to the top. Or you can do that. That works too.
Alright, Harry says there's a harder version of that skit.
I believe that.
Alright, Cracklin about MagFest, the one that's called Music and Games Festival. I know last year there were over capacity for the hotel. I think the hotel's capacity is like 2,500, 3,000. I'm not sure. And break the targets, I'm sorry, but whenever you're at an SDA Marathon, MagFest always stands for Mike's Abode Gaming Festival.
No way around it.
Yeah, you just can't dodge it. Anyways, it appears we have some new donations. And let's see. We have $20 from Carrie Johnson. You are the woman. Michael McDaniel for $6. Jerry DeMond for $20. Samuel Roberts for $20. Chad Gazzola for $10. And a lot of these people have had things to say, so let's see what they have to say. Samuel Roberts says $20 on SMRC file name. Sir. Jerry DeMond and Michael McDaniel both won 100% on Mega Man X2, so that's currently winning, despite Carrie Johnson's donation for Mega Man X2 low percent.
Speaking of that, we've played through some pretty good games in this marathon so far. We got a lot of killer titles coming up on the weekend.
Yeah, we have Super Mario 64. We have Super Meat Boy.
We've got
one of the most demanded games during Awesome Games Done Quick. We have Kirby Superstar by Oxloss, who's a master of that game. Don't worry, it's never a casual run with Oxloss.
You guys just saw him play Diddy Kong Racing, and even if you are like Mike and don't really understand what Diddy Kong Racing makes a good speedrun, you gotta respect how much time and effort goes into his runs. I don't know, I'd put that run well and truly as the best I've seen so far, and that's competing with Tri-X's Yoshi's Island.
Let's see, there's Metroid Prime, that's going to be a really great race with Miles and Paraxade. They've come within 5 seconds of each other in the past, and we still have the Metal Gear Solid series, so there's definitely plenty of games coming up.
There's a nice big block of Castlevania on Sunday too. You guys like your vampire hunting? This is the worst boss in the game. Hands down.
Oh yeah, this is really random and you just slip around everywhere.
Boss the biggest random jerk because you'll attack and then he'll just fly away and there'll be nothing you can do because he moves after you attack. So unless you get him locked up in the corner, the best result actually is if he does the attack where he sits in the corner and he fires the laser. You take damage off it, but it leaves him in place for an extended period of time, so you can get a couple of the powerful drill hits.
That looks like a pretty good fight to me. It's under a minute.
Yeah, it's barely under a minute.
Yeah, he got pretty lucky. Got that purple ball he fired near the end. That's the attack you have to manage to bring back toward Axel Gear on hard. That's really tricky to land.
That's actually been the one constant of every single Rocket Knight game is that Axel Gear is always there to be his nemesis and a jerk. And he's always like one of the most difficult fights, if not the most difficult in the Sparkster game.
Actually, I'm reading something Poexel said in the chat, and I thought that was what you're actually going to say. That a marathon staple is crazy ideas have a way of taking form here. the Duct Tape Chronicles from Awesome Games Done Quick.
Were you around for Resident Evil when Hauser did the Numa Numa dance?
I didn't actually see it, but I knew that donations were coming in for it.
Yeah, it was
too quickly.
it was quite the spectacle. But
yeah, we got to be really careful what we say
because Brain just threw out $500 to duct tape Jay's mouth and half.
Like that out there.
I don't even think he was being serious, and it happened.
I think he was.
I don't know.
I'd have said it.
So let's
just become too much.
So for Mega Man X2, which is coming up fairly soon, it's coming up right after Mega Man 10. Low percent is currently at $105, and 100% is currently at $109. Don't worry. Whichever run you get will be a very entertaining run. Out of the X games, Mega Man X2 has the most precise tricks out of all of the X games with lots of cool speed tricks, and there's just a lot of good weapons in general. Like the Strike Chain is great for covering distances on like small shortcuts, and Charge Speed Burner makes you go a little faster, and it acts like an second air dash. So it's just a really fun run to watch in general.
Nice. T-Ballin says, I definitely had the first, oh man, I have to say a dumb thing and now I have to pay for it moment in SBA marathon history.
That is true. The moment
to be fair though, that run absolutely deserved everything it got.
MTI definitely deserved the MVP award for that run, for managing to finish it. So what T-Bone is referring to, he's just seeing chat right now, but he said he's closed the gap because we're nearing our original lofty goal of $5,000 on our final day of the marathon, and MTI was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and one of the things that Marathon was notorious for is that we had 3 Nintendos and none of them worked properly. So about a third of the way into the game, the Nintendo just glitches up, and I'm like, okay, we have to kill this run, but MJ goes, no, wait, let me see if I can finish this run. And it's definitely like if there's only one run you're going to watch in a marathon, it's that run. Definitely highlight. I watch it time and time. It's still entertaining, and let's just say Donatello stole Raphael's weapons during that run. The game, we literally thought it was going to freeze at multiple times.
There's only one thing to say, right? That was the life bar.
Yeah. At one point, the light bar was just completely black. We couldn't even see it.
You can see how much you'd lost, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, all that getting sidetracked again.
There's nothing wrong with it, really. I mean, what are you going to say during this auto-scroller?
Not much. I was actually going to plug the charity.
Oh, that's actually a very good, actually, if we're going to get sidetracked, that's probably the best way to get sidetracked. So do you want to go on about the charity?
Well, actually, I meant that was what I was getting sidetracked from. But anyway, what we're doing here... Okay, this is Speed Demons Archive presents Japan Relief Done Quick. We're currently raising money for Doctors Without Borders to aid the relief effort in Japan. I am not going to say the French name because I already made a hash of it once during Sonic commentary yesterday. They do a lot of great work around the world. Anywhere that there's political strife, or natural disasters going on, such as what we've got in Japan at the moment. And actually, just before this marathon started, I actually got hit by another
0.4 earthquake.
I mean, we talk about that in context that, you know, it sounds like it's just a 7.4, but you think about how powerful a 7.4 earthquake is.
It's strong.
It's not something to be messed around with.
Hate this one. There we go, got it.
Alec Kermit says I'm falling asleep while talking, and that's probably pretty true. I've been up about 21 hours now, so...
You're getting into marathon mode, Mike.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just preparing for the next marathon.
I'm going to be at the next marathon, don't you worry.
Better. So, what Hyman just said in the chat is that he prefers to do low percent because he's used to it. But honestly, like, I think 100% is just as entertaining as low percent because you get more weapons to play around with, and the way you collect some of the parts is actually really interesting. So, I definitely say 100% is also worth it.
This is funny in the context of what you often say Trihex thinks is entertaining in his speedruns.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to do 100%. This game's not fun if I can't do 100%.
That's him with every game. Yes. Crash 2.
Particularly with Yoshi's Island, though, which is just ridiculous because, you know, we always point out how much of a highlight it is every single time watching it play the game. Dissonant Knight says, by saying you prefer one run, people will donate for the opposite of that.
Yeah, a good example is Super Mario 64 Majora's Mask.
That actually worked out so well, though.
Yeah, it really did.
Like, that in itself, like, $2,000, roughly.
Jono's fickle taste worked to our advantage.
Speaking of Super Mario 64, though, there is going to be a race of that between three of who I'd say are the premier players of that game right now. They play it so often on the stream. This is just going to be like just another day to them.
Okay,
so they're not going to have, you know, the stream luck, the stream prep.
Okay, so we have a new donation from Emily Lizzie, also known as Mercury Zelda, also known as the person who makes those adorable plushies. And what she wants to say is Hyman wants low percent Mega Man X2, so I do too. So currently, low percent X2 is winning.
Oh wow, we're up to the last boss already.
Yeah, we're up to the last boss, but he's not cooperating at all.
Oh wow, you're getting such a bad pattern. Basically, 4 in a row. What you want him to do is bring his face to the foreground, because then you can attack the nose. That's how you do damage to this face. And oh my, wow! I've never seen this bad luck. He hasn't come to the foreground.
Yeah. I mean, you're
30, 60 seconds before you got a hit. That's unheard of.
You're doing really well for this run. It's just like, it's like this guy's just working to make the marathon schedule by making it fall further behind.
I'm amazed actually how well we've managed to keep to the marathon schedule, given, you know, past form.
Yeah, well, Rom Scout and I knew that we had to make time estimates really forgiving. So, we just kind of based it around that.
One more hit. Oh, it's on my screen.
Alright.
There we go.
Very nice, and you're definitely underestimate for that game. You started.
So, did you see what your final in-game time was?
Not yet.
41, 23.
41,
You're about-
23?
Yeah.
Is that a record
Yes.
for you?
Yeah, that's better than my previous
Cool.
time. I believe my previous time was like 42 something.
Alright, good job. Nice. Only 2 people will be clapping here, but counts nonetheless. And you get the very prestigious title of being ahead of the schedule. It's not an Xbox Live achievement, but it'll have to do.
All right.
Should be an achievement for that.
It should be. The one and only SBA achievement.
Okay. What is it we have up next? Mega Man 10?
We have Mega Man 10.
And up next.
That'll be done by Duckfist, who is really good at this game. We don't have a run of this game on this site yet, but he's working on it, and I could definitely see him getting a run on the site soon. So
Yeah,
I look forward to that.
To compare, right, we have Tiki, who's, pretty much the best we've got at most of the older style Mega Man games. And this guy's pretty much on par with Tiki. I think it's like a few seconds either way. I'm not exactly sure where their best times are.
And he also beat a run that was submitted to the right that used a downloadable content weapon without using that downloadable content weapon. So
8 or 9. I noticed that best time there that Zaya just put down is, I can't read it, it's either 8 or 9. Ranked either 8 or 9.
yeah, it's hard to tell on the stream.
Looks like a 9.
Yeah.
My TV is not the best either. So.
The funny thing about the best time tracking is that you just have to do a completion of arcade mode, but what you can do is you can actually just reset every level until it goes perfectly for you. So it is effectively just a set of ILs, individual levels. And so yeah, we didn't have a single segment time in the top 10.
I wasn't even planning on that. That's all I'm going to say.
On saying that though, if you hit Y and bring up the whole list, my time is second there. I'm insignia on the
Right there.
Xbox leaderboards.
That 3419.
Yeah, that's a single
right there.
segment as well. And Harry in first place is the guy who did the run for SBA.
Oh yeah.
Alright, Duckfish says he's ready, so the stream's gonna go out for a second. But don't worry, it'll be back up soon once he sets up the stream.
All right.
So, see you guys soon.
Alright.